Hello one and all, welcome to Seen Through Glass. Now I've been stood here for quite a while trying to work out how not to fall into another BMW M4 situation by slagging off a car so many people love. Then I thought, screw it, I'm leaving America in a few weeks, why not?
Don't get me wrong, there is plenty that is good about this car. At the end of the day, this is supercar performance. It's a 6.2 litre V8 that can do 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds for a convertible. And in the UK, the Targa Top version of this car is less than 100 grand. I'm not sure you can get close to that performance for those kind of numbers as a stock car. Also, the soundtrack is pretty insane. This car's also got a massive cult following. The amount of people that have come up to me whilst I've been driving this car. Sorry, I was in some kind of like natural valley tunnel there. But yeah, the amount of people that have come up to me whilst I've been driving this car and be like, yeah, awesome car, man. I'm like, yeah, it is a cool car. And I was super excited when I picked it up. I also absolutely loved my opportunity driving Damien's manual green Z06, which was the Targa Top.
I also think the Z06 is a good looking car. Now, I'm not usually a fan of soft top convertibles, so I'd probably pick the coupe or the Targa Top. The extended front splitter, the bonnet vents, the side pack, the side sills, and then this kind of aero wing back here, all tied in with the quadruple exhaust at the back. I think this car can look awesome.
And in terms of handling, on a road like this, a twisty canyon road, it handles amazingly.
However, for me personally, despite all of those good points, there are too many crappy points about this car for me, which start to bring it down.
One to kick things off that you may have already been made aware of is this. What is that noise? That is me changing gear. I mean, obviously the exhaust and engine sound great, but that is my flappy pedal. It is officially the worst and most embarrassing noise in a sports car I've ever heard. It's just so depressing. When I had my opportunity to first step into an automatic Z06, I was so excited to just be playing around because of that exhaust note. And then I got these awful plastic poppy paddles and I was like, ugh. It's just not cool. It ruins the whole experience. And yes, you can be more gentle, of course, but you kind of want the drama. You want that, way, yeah, that freaking gears. And it just, unfortunately for me, falls into that stereotype of American cars that are slightly cheaper build quality or have slightly less build quality. This point also ties nicely into sort of my other frustration, which is the gearbox itself. It's not bad, please don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad, and I haven't driven enough cars with enough gearboxes to know where this rates. I'm just basing it on my own personal experience, and for me, it's slow. Especially when you consider the performance figures that this car offers, because you just have to consider this a supercar. There's no way around it. It is a supercar in terms of performance. And when you look at the competition in terms of performance, we're talking about 458s, we're talking about R8 V10 Pluses, McLaren 570Ss, etc. The gearbox in those cars is incredible, unbeatable. I mean, just immediate. And this, I mean, I can display it because of the crappy tin plastic. So if I accelerate, you can actually physically hear the time it takes to shift gear. And down, I bet you now, if you stepped into any of the competition of this car, that would be near immediate, even if you put the crappy plasticky paddles in there. My other really main issue with this car, which I think is across the Z06 range, is that they overheat. So if you saw yesterday's video, you'll know I drove down from LA to Palm Springs, got caught in the worst traffic, and basically got cooked inside the cabin of this car. My entire floor, the central console, was like it was on fire. Heat was pouring out. And when I drove with Damien in his Z06, he did mention that this overheating was like a common feature with the Z06 and a big problem. And hilariously, I literally just pulled over up the road to film some shots, and a guy in an old Corvette pulled up and went, "Oh, hey man, all good. They overheat sometimes, yeah?" And I was just rigging up GoPros. It hadn't even overheated. But he was so used to his overheating, he was like, that must be what happened.
I find it so frustrating because I want this car to be so good. A few of you picked up on previous videos that I did. I mentioned you couldn't get the Z06 in the UK, but apparently you can. It's just an incredibly long and arduous ordering process. But at £96,000, I think it is, for the Z06 in the UK, like, that could have been a potential F-Type replacement. And after driving Damien's manual, I was like, this thing's amazing. But since then, I've been very lucky to get my hands on a few different Z06s, and each experience has progressively got worse. I'm not necessarily a fan of soft top cars anyway, so I'm probably going to be a little bit biased. And I had this kind of disaster drive yesterday, which put me in a bad mood about the car. As I said at the beginning, there are tons of things which are amazing about this thing. The performance, and out here, I mean, look at this weather. It's like 34 degrees, beautiful canyon roads. To have the roof down is amazing. But when you start thinking of it as, is this a supercar, and would I pick this car over its competitors, I think the answer has to be no. Being negative about cars, especially cars that I know lots of people love, but I've just been frustrated with this thing. And as you can see, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. And I think, as I've said a number of times, it's a supercar. I don't care what you say, I don't care how common they are in America, this is a supercar. And if you owned one, you would surely love it. And I guess put up with the crap, because racing away from lights or around a track, you're probably going to beat a lot of stuff that is a lot more expensive. And isn't that what America has always done so well? Made incredible sports cars that are cheaper than the European rivals. And I genuinely thought when I first got a Z06 that that is exactly what had happened. But I think now I'm afraid to say I no longer like or love the Z06. It's a very, very cool car, and I'm very pleased for anyone who owns one. But personally, not for me. However, that soundtrack and the way it performs on this road, even as a convertible, is
pretty amazing. And look, I got a smile on my face, so it does some things amazingly. But right now, all I keep doing is staring down at that temperature gauge, terrified I'm about to go up in a ball of flames. Seems to be some kind of, has it been an accident here? I can't tell if there's been an accident or everyone stood on the side of the road. Oh, big bad motorbike accident. That's not good. I feel like maybe I should chill out a bit now, driving up and down this road. That's why people are like, get a motorbike. Nope, I'm good. That was sketchy. Well, I guess the good thing about the convertible Z06 is I can just put it into drive, get out of track, go into sport. Yeah, not tour, sport, and then cruise. And enjoy this weather. Still have the soundtrack when I need it. Anyway guys, I hope this hasn't been too controversial. I hope I haven't offended or upset any people who might own Z06s. As I've said a number of times, you're extremely lucky. It's still a very cool car. Still a very cool car, but for me personally, yeah, not the one. Make sure to subscribe anyway for plenty of videos still to come. I've got some really cool stuff happening next week. As I say, collaboration with Matt Farah, the Smoking Tire, some other cool access. I hopefully am filming the next episode for Driveway Goals. So stay tuned and I will catch up with you guys very soon.